The next person coming to the stage, he has an incredible story. You guys are going to love it. Give it up for my man, Jim.
If there's one thing I want you to take away from my presentation tonight, and I know these guys have because I say it too much, it's the word dang. I use it all the time. I use it too much. I'm at work and I find a hole in my pants. Dang. Somebody hooks me up with Janelle Monáe tickets last minute. Dang. I take a buddy out to eat and I realize inflation is real. Dang. It's tough. My sweetheart Chelsea will tell me that there was definitely an uptick of me using dang when I started to work in solar. Oh, it worked. That's me. Oh, I look like I came straight out of Fortnite. I work with a bunch of bros, dang, and a couple of ladies who put up with us, which is pretty awesome, dang. And for me, this isn't always the easiest thing because I was reared by my mom, I was reared by my grandma, my sister, even the dog was a girl. Some of my earliest memories were being at the playground in a group full of little boys and just feeling like a little out of place. And I never knew if that was like because my father wasn't around, it just felt like something was missing. So of course, by the time I get old enough to work, my dad was a roofer, and either subconsciously or consciously, I just throw myself into construction jobs because construction jobs tend to be all men. I built a house down in Hillsboro. I did road construction with cousins. I put up tents in the summer, and I earned my stripes because I don't know if you've ever been around a bunch of guys working in construction, but if one guy is having a hard time getting a task done, you'll see all the other guys come up and they'll put their hands on his shoulder and they'll be like, "Are you okay? Can you just tell me how you are? And like, is there a way I can support you?" No! It's like, what the fuck? Are you slow? Are you a pussy? Like, did your balls not drop? What the heck is wrong with you? We got to get this fucking done, you know? So I put in my time, I put in my work, and it was tough, super tough. And then later, when I decided to jump on to solar because I thought these people were trying to do things a little bit differently, as I realized I wanted to build culture and contribute to the culture, I knew that I would need a word to be able to connect with guys in a lot of different situations. Hence, dang. Somebody will come up to me. "We just finished the wire pull and the system's working, dang!" Or, on the other hand, "I know it's 3:30, but I left some wires hanging on the roof on the bottom panel an inch off from the ledge, and we got to pick up those mods and put them back." Dang. Or I brought pickles. I love pickles, dang! So in the springtime, I became a lead, and just like a teacher, like at their desk, pretending, or like grading homework, pretending not to watch, I'm always watching my guys. I'm like always watching what they do, and I'm lucky to work with some pretty cool dudes. For instance, my white friend Ryan, he's from rural Illinois, and I don't know if people know this, but rural Illinois has like this twang that would give Texas a run for its money, and he'll be like, "Dang." I'll be like, "Yeah." Or I have a friend, Darius, who's from New Orleans. He has a roommate named T, and T, whenever he thinks he gets away with something slick, he goes, "Ha ha ha ha." And so Darius says it all the time at work, so I say it all the time at work, and I say it so much that when my mother-in-law came to visit, one day she did something slick in the kitchen and she went, "Ha ha ha ha," and I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." Or my friend Dore from Colombia, when he's having a tough moment on the roof and he needs a word to just express himself, he'll say, "Puchica pues," like obviously. Cool. So yeah, things are going well. I watch these guys struggle. I watch these guys succeed. I watch these guys take care of each other, which is super cool. And things are going well, but I haven't been tested, like really, really tested, until the week of August 21st. And now none of you might remember what that date meant specifically, but you'll remember the week because it was hot, like super hot. Like I get up at 4, walk outside, it's 82 degrees already. That Friday would break a record with 104-degree temperature and 116 heat index. And I look at the weather for the next week coming up and I go, dang. And of course, because it was the hottest week of the year, I also looked at the schedule for what I had to do and realized I had the hardest job of the year. Not the hardest job for our crew, but probably for the hardest job of the company for the whole year. Because do you remember, like at the playground, those flat metal slides that if I want to get to the top, I'd get a running start. I go up until my feet start to slide out from under me, grab the side of it, and pull myself up. Well, that would be my roof until I managed to set 64 mods, and it looks something like that. You can tell by my desperate expression, I wasn't happy. On top of that, the 2 guys I was working with were pretty new. They were starting to get their roof legs under them, but they weren't solid yet, and I was a little worried. So sure enough, my first crewmate, I'm setting up safeties. I'm tied in, I'm hanging back on that cord, you can see. My first crewmate comes up, he puts his head over the ladder, looks around and goes, "Oh no." And he's gone. I'm like, that's tough, but to be expected. My second crewmate is looking at me from below and he's like, "I'm scared, but Jim needs help. And I'm gonna go up there and we're gonna do this thing." Climbs up the ladder, grabs the rope, take one step on the roof, and his foot slips under him. And I watch all of that courage disappear into self-preservation as he climbs back down the ladder. And I'm like, I'm up there on the roof, it's 100 degrees, about 10 o'clock, and I'm just like looking at everything that I have to do, all the attachments to put in, and pretty overwhelmed. And part of me that survived all of those years of being ground down by other men looks down that ladder, and I'm like, these guys could use some motivation. And the words just come up. And then I'm like, fuck that, you know? Because 2 scared guys on a very steep, scary roof where somebody could get hurt for a very long time, and that would impact them and their families, and I'd have to live with that. It just like wasn't worth it. So I spend the whole day scrambling around, trying to put in attachments, trying to get anything done to be able to write to the office and be like, I did something, I promise. And I come down the ladder. I'm drenched. I'm just like, I got out of a pool, just soaked. I'm intimidated, and I have to do something that's really hard for a man. And I had to reach out for help. So I write to the office like, I think I'm going to have some trouble unless somebody could come help me. And every day, like, I think of this, and I'm super grateful because there were guys that had other work to do, other responsibilities, and they volunteered to come up and join me in that hell. Like, went out of their way to be with me. And, like, people that didn't have to be there at all, like, field off, I can't even say the acronym anymore. FPCs, Field Program Coordinators. Thank you. They don't even have to set solar panels anymore. They're free. Chris, Austin, and Liam came out to help me out. Or there was a crew that came out 2 days when I was sick. Aiden, Juan, and Abneil came out to bail me out. Or Michael, who has a crew of his own, decided to like leave his crew to somebody else in charge to help me for 3 days. And our electrician apprentice, who studied so he wouldn't have to do this anymore, was up there even more than I was. He was up there the whole week, Evan. So, but even getting up there, I had people with me, and every solar panel was a battle. A panel would come up the lift, Michael would pass it to me, and I'd have it in one arm like this, with a rope in this hand, walking down a rail to pass it to Chris and Evan. Michael worked so hard that at one point he got a Charlie horse and like collapsed on the roof, which was pretty scary. But of course, popped back up and drank some water and got back at it. And we persevered. And I freaking love these guys that had my back and helped me get this done rather than having to dog two guys about it. So solar is tough. Solar is really tough. And there's a ton of women and a ton of men working on it. And most of the people that lay those panels are going to be dudes. And the exceptional women that put up with us. And for me, it's great to get back into construction knowing that I've got my guys and my guys got me. So thank you.